As you're coming into the harbor of Istanbul, be sure to be up on deck to enjoy this incredible sight. You'll have the old town with its mosques up on the hill, Topkapi Palace, the minarets of the mosques, the wonderful domes, and the old clay tile roofs of the old part of Istanbul. It's on one side of the ship. On the other side of the ship, you've got the residential area of the suburbs of Istanbul that stretch off way into the distance, a little bit less interesting to look at. So you'll focus most of your arrival attention, and in fact your visits when you get on shore, to this old part of town. Up around Sultanahmet Square, you'll have the Blue Mosque and Hagia Sophia. You can see these two grand buildings very clearly from the ship as you pull into port. It was capital of the great Byzantine and Ottoman empires, and the treasury for fabulous riches that helped to create one of the world's most magnificent cities. Built on a picturesque hilltop and surrounded by water on three sides, this city was easy to defend from marauding enemies. At the same time, its site on the Bosphorus, a narrow waterway that connects the Black Sea with the Mediterranean, put Istanbul at the crossroads of trade between Asia, Europe, and Africa. For more than 1,000 years, Istanbul was the Western world's largest and most important city. From the year 330, when it became capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, until the decline of the Ottoman Empire in the 17th century. Once again, Istanbul is the largest city in Europe and presents such an exotic array of attractions and rich history that it should be on everyone's list of places to visit. Istanbul is sometimes overlooked, even feared, as a place to go in today's uncertain political climate. Yet this is a peaceful place where Americans are welcome regardless of our government's Middle East policies. As a European ally, Turkey is an important example of a Muslim nation not controlled by religion and wide open to Western values. Along with all of the monuments and past glory, Turkey is most attractive because of the friendliness of its people. One positive aspect of any reluctance to go is that prices and crowds are somewhat reduced as a result, making this an opportune time to visit. The rewards are overwhelming, while risks are similar to the chances of being struck by lightning, so don't be deterred. Istanbul is the only major city in the world that links two continents, with half in Europe and the other side in Asia. An amazing cultural blend of East and West comes along with this split. Many of the most amazing buildings constructed during the era of its long prosperity are still standing near each other in a square-mile section of the old town, amidst the lively, friendly, and chaotic bustle of the busy city. With so many attractions to cover, 4 nearby sites stand out and should be on your list to visit first. Topkapi Palace, home to the Sultan and 5,000 friends for 400 years. Hagia Sophia, the world's largest church for 1,000 years. Blue Mosque, one of Islam's most beautiful and holy shrines. The Grand Bazaar with 4,000 shops along 65 alleys, the largest covered market anywhere. The proximity of these major sites makes them easy to see on foot, with time left over to explore more of the old and newer sides of town. This neighborhood, called Pera, presents the European face of Istanbul that continues from Taksim Square along the main pedestrian road of Istiklal Caddesi, with shops and restaurants lining both sides of the street. If you are hungry, a cheap option is takeout kebab at any of the stands in Taksim Square or further along the main road. Some very good, humble restaurants are tucked away down the little side lanes. An old-fashioned tram runs along the middle of the street, So if you would rather ride, it's an easy alternative. There are some fine buildings along this boulevard that were designed in mid-19th century style, somewhat weathered but filled with character, including some Parisian-style passage lined with shops and cafes that are worth stepping into as you reach them. Now, boisterous side streets are thriving with locals shopping, hanging out, eating, and trying to sell you things. While this is a very pleasant neighborhood to see, with its European atmosphere, it does not have the overwhelming power of history that you've experienced in the old town. It is an important part of the total character of Istanbul, though, and you will thoroughly enjoy the walk.